in the day of the internet, do you think we even need teachers in schools anymore?
No.
If you can teach, the first thing you should be teaching kids is autodidactism, I believe is the word. Self-teaching. All the information is out there for free. To the point, I've even pontificated about a theory that having you have to go to school and certainly paying for tuition is somehow a violation of right to knowledge. Like there should be a right to knowledge or a right to free education where it doesn't matter how you get the education. If you have the knowledge, it cannot be discriminated against. And so especially with the internet, now I understand, okay, kindergarten, kids got to learn his ABCs, maybe mom, dad don't got, okay, fine. And then, okay, your colors.
Everything I've learned on YouTube was literally from the internet.
Right.
Everything.
And kids will learn stuff from the internet. But what I'm saying is at a certain point in time, like maybe the 3rd or 4th grade, kids should be able like, this is a book. Here's how you read.
Right.
And none of this, well, Jimmy has a learning disability. No, he has crappy parents. Get on him, you know? And if Jimmy really does have an issue, fine. We'll deal with that later. But no, we have mostly lazy parents.
Right.
You could have these kids going at their own rate, saving trillions over the years of property taxes for schools that we no longer need, and probably with better educational results than having a bunch of lackadaisical, generally disinterested teachers who can, it's a check, that kind of thing.
Well, and you see the clips coming out of these teachers fucking the boys.
Well, okay, there's 3 million teachers in the United States. It's not.
I see like a new story every other week. I'm like, God damn.
It's very sensational. Yes, it's wrong. Yeah.
I'm like, what is wrong with you people?
Yeah. Teachers aren't. I'm not a fan of teachers.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of teachers.
My brother wouldn't date him. I remember in college, he's like, I went on this date and she was so hot. Hannah, that's my first name. She was so hot. God, she was so stupid. I cannot date these education. He ended up he's about to marry a chick that's going to be an engineer.
Good. There you go. Yeah, that's the ticket. Yeah.
He could not deal with these like dumb women.
Yeah. No, I got an accountant, so it's yeah, but you can't, and go look at IQ by major. Teachers are early childhood education is the lowest, and then elementary or regular, it depends.
Really?
Oh yeah, they're on the bottom third, bottom quartile.
Wow.
Even, yeah. You don't have you definitely do not have your smartest people teaching the kids.
I'm so curious, where do music majors fall?
Oh God, dead last. I mean, they're down. I mean, they're not early child. You look it up, and it depends on your source. There's different polls, and I'm sure different ways they test, but it's nothing that you wouldn't expect. Look, if it didn't take math and didn't take any rigor, lower IQ, and we're not, by the way, the average IQ of early childhood education major, I think, is 103. 100, you're still smarter than the average person. Mm-hmm. You're still going to college, but barely. Mm-hmm. And then like your astrophysicists are up there with like 140 something. They're just off.
So you could have been weren't you close to? You could have been an
nuclear physicist.
Yeah.
I was thinking about becoming a nuclear engineer, and there's a piece of me that it probably paid off not to do it because they're decommissioning and
yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoyed physics. I really enjoyed it. But now I'm an internet podcasting person.
But so when people have really high IQs, the issue is society conforms to people with like low IQ.
Not low,
or average.
And
yeah.
it's not. There's no pejorative or negative connotation in low IQ or high IQ, just as there's no compliment. It's an issue of efficiency. Mm-hmm. Your society has to be built around the average person's intelligence.
Right.
So I'm trying to think of an example.
What about tradesmen? Where are they in terms of IQ?
The ones I deal with are like negative. They're really stupid people. The tradesmen are they're lazy. Mm-hmm. I have not seen any data testing tradesmen, but I gotta imagine they're higher than average because a lot of that stuff requires some math, a lot of geometry, trigonometry, common sense. Whether they're sober or not, whether they know how to finish a job or they have maturity to like, I'll do 98% of the job and just mess up the last 2%, rendering the whole project pointless. That's another issue. But yes, I would guess they're higher than average because the math involved in precision.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but is the job market similar to the education system where they punish people with high IQ?
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. No, that's where you're going to run into the trouble. I didn't think this was true, but they used to say, "Oh, your bosses are intimidated by you." I'm like, what That doesn't mean anything. No, they're not. Why they're the boss? Why don't they hire me? Why don't they give me more projects? Why don't they? Again, big problem of high IQ people. You overthink. You think, why would they do that? Doesn't make any sense. The amount of petty, vindictive people in the world. Like, there are people who worry, like, this kid's going to outshine me. Things that even to this day I don't understand. The gray chart story is in banking. Mm-hmm. I made a chart. It was something important where it proved like, hey, this is not going to pay off. We got to stop. And you know what my boss complained about? The color of gray. He didn't like the shading of the gray in the chart. I'm like, did you see the number? What? And one thing that smart people have a problem understanding is just how many stupid people there are. But it's not stupid. Let's say you got your average person, right? Okay. IQ of 100. And then you have someone who's legitimately mentally retarded. 70 IQ. Can't wipe their ass. I mean, really, can't function. So you're talking 2 standard deviations, 15, 30 points down from 100 to 70. Now take someone with an IQ of 130. You look at someone with an IQ of 100. Because you're in society, you think, well, that person is normal. That's just a normal person. They do normal things. They talk English like I do and whatever else. So there's no differentiation between them. But then when you they can function as a normal human being, and they're the majority of the population. But when you interact with them on some key things like, here's a chart showing the crisis. Oh, geez, you need to do this. I'm sure doctors have a problem with this where the doctor is brilliant. You're like, you need to lose weight or you're going to die. And they don't understand why they don't lose weight. You have to understand being 130, looking at an average person is the same thing as the average person looking at someone who is actually functionally mentally retarded.
Wow.
You just don't realize it because they're functioning normally. It's in a normal society. But, like your brother who went out with the teacher major, I guarantee you if he got tested, he's 130 plus, and the teacher's like 104, 105. Yeah. So, and then he's like, oh my, people who could talk about the girly shows or did you watch the latest soap opera? Guys who watch sports, get excited about it. You go to the bar.
I don't think my brother watches sports.
Right.
I'm thinking about it.
If you show me a man with a sports jersey with another man's name on it, I'll show you a guy with a 102 IQ who doesn't understand philosophical things like stoicism, but not that they should. It's just, I can't associate with, I don't hate the guy, but do you want to sit and watch 2 people throw a ball at each other for 3 hours? No.
My dad. I mean, they'll watch like the Super Bowl if it's like a big game, but none of them really are that into.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and some people like sports, but if you get to the point you're throwing a controller through a screen TV because some guy who doesn't know your name didn't catch the funny ball and run it past the line.
Yeah.
It's like Jeff Foxworthy's, you might be a redneck. You're like, you might have a low IQ. We could do a whole comedy routine on it.
Mm-hmm. But it's not really like good or bad. It's just, it is.
No, it is what it is. Yeah. It's not, if you like football, you like football. If you get emotionally invested, you get emotionally invested.
Yeah.
If you go too far away from that, the guy with Down syndrome don't get it. And the super high IQ nuclear physicists don't get it either.